I didn't obviously finish your question about the Spanish speaking population.
Sure.
Like I said, apart from in kind of Manchester and really London, it is pretty sparse. I mean, I've come across, because I'm a teacher, I've come across a few Spanish speaking students um, in both schools that I've worked in. Both schools were broadly speaking in the northwest, but um, very very sparse, which is a shame actually, because as well lockdown kind of, I mean, hopefully whenever lockdown finishes, we're obviously in a full lockdown down at the time of this video. I really would like to try to link up with some Spanish families, even especially ones that might have very young children, because I think my own Spanish is not going to be sufficient to really let my daughter speak it as well as I
Sure.
would like. Though I will
Sure.
give it other input from reading and, well, limited TV. But yeah,
Sure, sure, yeah, and as you were saying here, I mean, it's depending on what part of the United States a person lives, the work can decrease. The work necessary can decrease in order to learn Spanish,
yeah,
because of the demographics in regional areas. But and I think, and this is another perception based question, but I think a lot of people assume that for British students, and I think you alluded to this a moment ago, but the automatic destination is to learn French, because it seems like that's what the automatic. Whereas here it would be Spanish, but if you're going to learn a foreign language, you're going to learn French. Is the perception that some here have about
I think
students in the UK?
um, I wouldn't say it is an incorrect perception. I think, I mean, French obviously at one point really was the uh, I think up until like the 60s really was the sort of international language of politics. Like on some really old passports, even my grandmother's dual nationality Pakistani passport, it was written in English, Urdu, and French.
Ah,
Um, so I think pretty much every school will teach French. A lot of schools teach Spanish as well now. The school that I work in, unfortunately, doesn't actually teach Spanish. It's something that I'm trying to kind of push a little bit, and maybe give myself a break from some science teaching as well. If it's something that I could maybe start doing as well. I did actually do a bit of a Spanish club last lockdown online, which was quite, well, reasonably good, I felt anyway. Um, so yeah, French definitely, Spanish in most places, German. Um, they are Some places are even fading German out a little bit. I mean, Germany is obviously an economic powerhouse in Europe, but the language is not as kind of internationally spoken as Spanish and French.
right.
But um, but yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find a school that does not teach French.
Sure, sure. Now, and I only ask this because I'm curious, and I know that in some parts of the nation, this could be sensitive material. So please tell me to buzz off if you need me to. But um, as far, and I'm thinking in terms of your location in Northwest England. Um, from an educational standpoint, are students able to take Welsh if they want to, or any other kind of regional national language from that standpoint, or is that
I really wish that was true. I mean, there are GC. I mean, you can sit an exam in some of the other subjects. So I've known people who maybe just have a different native language, who've then gone and done a GCSE in Italian, or even more kind of rarer things like you can do a GCSE in Bengali, for example. I'm not so far from Wales and North Wales as well, where of course Welsh is spoken. I mean, I can drive there in about 35 minutes or so.
wow?
But in England, no, there's not really an opportunity to do that unless you really knew Welsh as well. In North Wales, where they're and good on them where they really are trying to stop Welsh from dying. Um, there is obviously a lot more scope for that, and I believe some of the schools, at least primary schools, will teach quite a bit, I think, of the material in Welsh. But it's a shame. I mean, if I wasn't so committed to the three languages, which I
Sure.
feel, I mean, Welsh really would be something I'd consider doing. All this talk about a language not being useful. I mean, Welsh has survived the Romans, the Saxons, and the Vikings. It's one of the last Celtic languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really don't want it to die.